Dogs! You know them, you love them. These four-legged friends can be found in many homes. One or two, or if your family is more extreme, then maybe even 10. But what if I told you that there's a place on Earth that houses 1,300 of them? Yes, my friends, look no further than the Territorio de Zaguates in Costa Rica Santa Barbara Mountains. The name means land of the strays in the local language, which pretty much sums up what the 378 acres of land is all about. The founders of this dog rescue facility slash shelter, Laya Battle and her husband, Alvaro Samet, began taking in strays into their home from the streets of San Jose about 13 years ago. When their backyard couldn't handle the sheer amount of good boy, then they began the process of moving the dogs they rescued to Territorio, which actually used to be a farm owned by Laya's grandfather. Normally they don't allow visitors to Territorio because the staff have a hard time taking care of the dogs while people are present. Probably because the dogs keep following people around. Though Territorio does organize free group visits on select days, and you can even bring your own dogs along if you have any. No worries if you don't have a dog but want one. Most of their dogs are up for adoption. Bad news is that they're currently closed for renovation, so anyone who wants to go there will have to wait. Awesome fun fact about this place, by the way, not only do each of their dogs have a name, they also have more personalized breed names like chubby-tailed German Dobernoser and fire-tailed Border Cocker. Sadly, there are some people out there with bad intentions for this pooch paradise. Last March, some Facebook posts by Territorio claimed that there were people who wanted to buy the property from the family. When the owners of the doggy ranch politely declined, they discovered that someone had been sneaking inside to poison the dogs, which caused 9 of the mutts to die. Hell, there was even an instance where an employee got chased around by 2 men in ski masks, and one of them had a fucking machete! The total canine death count last time I checked was at 60. Yes, I know, that's 60 dogs too many. Lucky for us, there are ways we can support them. You can donate money either through their website or Facebook page. I'll leave the links in the description. And if you think that donating money won't help them, trust me, it'll help. The costs of living of each of their dogs is pretty pricey, so yeah. At this point, everyone knows about Venice, Italy, to the point where it's kinda overrated. This next place isn't exactly virgin territory, especially during the summer when it's crammed with tourists, but it's a nice change of pace for those who crave the canals of Venice but prefer a more rustic charm to their bucket list. The town of Giethoorn in the Dutch countryside was established as a community of peat harvesters. I know what you're thinking. What the heck is peat? To save you the trouble of googling it, here. Back to our story, cutting the peat in the area flooded the place with water because Giethoorn was smack dab next to the largest fen in northwestern Europe. Folks were all like, well shit, decided to just connect the islands of peat with some bridges, and the Venice of the Netherlands was born. MacGyver would be proud. Not to say that they don't have roads, their town center actually serves as a parking area for tourists. Though you're gonna have to hoof it from there as the rest of the town is only reachable either by its 150 bridges or by boat. Naturally, because of the waterways, traveling by boat is the main attraction of this place. All in all, there's 90 kilometers of canoe trails to cruise through, and more adventurous tourists can even head straight to the Weiriben Weeden Forest Park, aka the big ass fen that I mentioned earlier. There's 3 ways you can go about this. You can rent out whisper boats to use yourself, so named because of their quiet electric motors. Other tourists opt for canal cruises, basically group tours in a larger boat. The advantage here is that these have a tour guide that can bring you to places of interest in Giethoorn, so less hassle. Also, you know what these are? I don't really know what these are called, but you can also do this. You won't be shortchanged even if you choose to walk. With the quaint rural scenery and houses dating back to the 18th century, every inch of the land here is prime Instagram material. While you're there, you might want to check out the Het Old Mat Us Museum. Normally they only exhibit old Dutch farmhouse settings, but they also hold special events sometimes. Like every first Saturday of August, costume volunteers actually use the equipment in the museum to reenact how life was in Giethoorn. Tourists can join in the fun too, if your definition of fun involves mowing grass with a scythe, preparing traps, and eating potatoes, in which case, go ahead! And since you're into this whole immersion thing, you might as well pass by Museum de Oud Art or the Old Earth Museum to peek at some gems, and the Skruur Shipyard that creates traditional Dutch punt boats. Personally speaking, though, I prefer going to Giethoorn in winter because the ice skating. Okay. As cool as this next one is, it is, no joke, also the most hazardous place in this episode. If you decide that danger is your middle name, then head out to Ecuador, go to the outskirts of Baño City, and climb up a mountain trail for a couple of hours until you reach
the edge of the world!
No, really. That's the actual name of this place. Well, I guess technically it's called La Casa del Arbol, or the Tree House, but Edge of the World sounds way cooler, and it's the name of the swing hanging from the tree, so that's what we're going with. Let's go back 20 years. Back then, this multi-lawn tree had no house attached to it, and merely served as a backdrop for Carlos Sanchez's pasture. The nearby volcano, Tungurahua, or Throat of Fire, in the local dialect, man, these names are so metal, woke up from its eons-long nap and decided to rain on Baños' parade with ash and lava. After coming back to discover everything covered in ash but otherwise unharmed, even his animals, Sanchez made a vow to the patron saint of Baños that he would serve as a watchman for the active volcano to help keep the city safe. Now, you might think that sitting and staring at a volcano is an easy job, but this guy has had training from Ecuador's Geophysical Institute to recognize signs of volcanic activity. Sanchez actually almost died from volcanic fumes in 2006, so yeah, there's still a huge chance of this thing blowing everything to shit. The Edge of the World, as it would soon come to be known, was hanged onto the tree by Sanchez as a way to get his grandkids to visit on the weekends. Word spread around, and soon Sanchez was letting complete strangers swing from his tree. Remember how I said that this might be dangerous compared to the other places I've been talking about? It's not because of the swing lacking safety features or where it's positioned. No, it's because of the ticking time bomb that could go off at any minute. That's actually how this swing became famous. Some people snapped this shot during its last eruption in 2014, minutes before the whole area was covered in a smoke cloud. The photo won a Nat Geo contest, and pretty soon people were lining up to subject themselves to the swing version of Russian roulette. If you manage not to rouse the wrath of the volcano gods, the Edge of the World isn't all bad though. The aerial view of the Andes it provides is second to none, and Sanchez even recruited his family to add an extra swing on the other end of the tree and the zip line. It only costs $1 to try any of those. At least you'll have bragging rights. I don't know about you guys, but after the adrenaline rush of that last place, I just wanna chill. Literally, since we're going to the far eastern region of Russia. The glass beach in Ussuri Bay looks like a unicorn got a bad case of the runs and shat Skittles all across the sand. That's actually a perfectly good analogy of how this place came to be, and that unicorn's name is pollution. Apparently, Ussuri Bay used to look like total crap. Soviet-era factories dumped truckloads of vodka bottles, broken jars, and porcelains into the ocean. The beach was so full of sharp shards brought in by the waves that the government banned people to enter here. Well, obviously, the place did a complete 180 because if it didn't, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. Decades of erosion courtesy of the Sea of Japan rounded and polished all the glass into harmless pebbles. In addition to the myriad of colors, the stones also give a distinct jingling sound when the waves roll in. The beach becomes even more beautiful in the winter as the white snow contrasts the rocks. Though for people who have plans of seeing the glass beach in person, I recommend you do it soon. Scientists observed that the water erosion that made this kaleidoscope possible is still ongoing, and that the tinted rocks will vanish by 20 years' time, reverting the black sand beach back to its former state. Mother Nature giveth, and Mother Nature taketh away.